The Blooming Desert Shawl starts with Judy's magic cast on at the nape of the neck. You'll be using the magic loop method for this, so you need a long circular needle. Hold the two needles parallel to one another and adjust your yarn. This is a two-stranded cast on, so make sure that you get enough yarn to complete the stitches on both needles. You'll be twisting your yarn around the top needle first, and then hold it like a slingshot. The forefinger yarn will go to the bottom needle and the thumb yarn will go to the top needle. As you're going along, alternate stitches. You'll be casting on 12 stitches on top and 12 stitches on bottom. If you need to have a little bit more instruction on Judy's magic cast on, I also have a teeny tiny tutorial that shows you the cast on by itself. When you're finished, make sure to count stitches on top and bottom needles. To keep the stitches from falling off, you're going to be tying just a single knot with both the yarn tail and the working yarn. So turn your cast on to the other side where the purl ridge is visible, and then just tie a single knot. This can come out later or it can stay in your work. It's very low profile. Again, make sure that the purl bump row is facing in preparation to start chart A. Pull the bottom needle out so that the bottom stitches are resting only on the cable, and so you can start using that bottom needle to work the first row of chart A. This is the first part of chart A. It starts with 3 stitches, knit through the back loop, and then 2 knit stitches, a yarn over, knit 1 through the back loop, and then you're going to be knitting to the end of the top needle. You'll see on the chart that there's a little symbol to turn, and you can also see that in the written instructions. So once you get to the end, just turn your work and you'll be working on chart A, row 2. You will not have worked the other stitches on that cable as of yet. Once you get to the end of row 2, when you start row 3 will go around and you will be working on both needles, and the magic loop method is going to help you get across that really tight corner in the middle of the shawl. So at this point, we have just the edging stitches. So there's no stitch for the body of the shawl as of yet. So this is the start of row 3, and it starts with the patterning for the edging. It's a garter stitch edging, and it continues all the way along the sides of the shawl. So once you get to the end of this needle, you're going to be adding a yarn over before you turn the corner and work the rest of the row. This is where the magic loop really comes in handy. So now that bottom needle is going to come out and the top needle goes in, and you're going to turn that corner and make your yarn over to work the rest of row 3. And this is also patterned. This is on the right side. Odd numbered rows are always on the right side. And you'll be able to tell if the patterning is correct across. It makes logical sense once you have those stitches in there. So this is your first complete round without turning in the middle. And as of yet, there isn't enough material to stop using the magic loop. So you're going to work back on row 4 now. Row 4 is basically just knitted, so I'm going to speed this up just a little bit so it doesn't bore you to death. When I get to the end of this needle, I'm going to have that yarn over again, and I did not put my markers in before, so I just stuck them in now. So this has 5 stitches worked into the yarn over. So I am alternating knits and purls, and you can see I dropped my yarn over off the needle by accident. So that's no big deal. It's just one big hole right there. So however you get that back up on your needle and get your 5 stitches worked into the yarn over, you'll be totally good. Now it's going to turn the corner, and for a while that yarn over is going to look pretty stretched out, but don't worry, once you get going on the full shawl, it will stretch out and it will look beautiful. And then when you block it out, you won't even notice where it stretched out. So one thing always to remember about lace is that it doesn't look great until it's blocked. Blocking is absolute magic. Okay, so now we're at the end of row 4. And it still doesn't look like very much, but you're starting to be able to see that pattern in there. And let's get going on row 5 here. Row 5 is also worked all the way around. So you're going to be working on both needles again and following the patterning as shown in the chart. So I've just sped this up a little bit again because it's basically, at this point, you have the idea of how to work with this with a magic loop. Those 5 stitches in the middle that are in the yarn over, they're all worked through the back loop to make it nice and tidy. And they can be a little bit fiddly at first. Don't worry about that. It gets easier and easier as the material gets bigger. And this gives you a really nice invisible start to your shawl. You won't be able to see where it started at all. And now we're going on row 6, and that's just basically knit all the way around with those 3 border stitches knit through the back loop. And in the middle, we're going to be purling, and that's the setup for the rest of the body of the shawl. So those 5 stitches in the middle, those are the shawl body stitches, and then all of the other stitches are just for the edging. And here's your beautiful cast on. You are now ready to work the rest of the shawl.